In the cold silence of deep space, a small ship drifted alone. It was old, rusty, a mining scavenger ship. Inside, one man said quietly, "Captain Ryle." He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a hero. Just a lonely man searching the stars for broken ships. And maybe something worth selling. Then his scanner beeped. Beep. Distress signal detected. Faint. Origin unknown. Ryle leaned forward. "That's old code," he said softly. "Alien and dying." The signal came from a nearby moon. Small, gray, lifeless. No cities. No colonies. No signs of life. But the signal kept calling. Weak, like a whisper. He adjusted his course. "Let's see what's waiting." Ryle landed near a black crater. The ground was covered in metal debris, burned, broken, silent. What was once a massive alien ship now lay torn open like a crushed can. He stepped out, suit sealed, blaster. Ready. Stay sharp, he told himself. No telling what's inside. He walked slowly. Burn marks on the walls. Dead alien bodies everywhere. They weren't human, blue-skinned, long limbs. Glowing eyes now lifeless. He passed empty corridors, broken machines, wires hanging like vines. Then he heard something. A soft cry. No, no, please. His heart jumped. That voice. It was. Still alive. He followed the sound deeper into the wreckage. A hallway had collapsed. Metal beams blocked the path. He forced his way through. One cut across his suit. Sparks flew. Then he saw her, a woman, alien, trapped under metal. Her body was broken. Blood leaked from her lips, but her hands were on her stomach. She was pregnant. Her eyes met his. Ryle froze. Help, please, she whispered. He dropped beside her. I'm here. I got you. She shook her head weakly. Too late, for me. Not for him. She pulled something from her belt, a small glowing capsule. She pushed it into Ryle's hands. My son must live. Must not find him. Ryle stared at her. What are you saying? She coughed. Her blood was glowing, her body trembling. They're coming. He's not safe. Suddenly, Ryle's scanner beeped again. Multiple signals detected. Ships approaching. Not human. Alien hunters. I can't take a baby, he said. I'm not. She grabbed his arm. Promise me. Her eyes were filled with tears, pain, fear. Love, please, save my baby. Then, she was gone. Silence. Ryle stood there, frozen, holding the capsule. Inside, a small pod, glowing softly, and something moving. A child. An alien child. What the hell is this? He whispered. Then dash boom. A shockwave hit the ship. Dust and metal rained down. Warning. Incoming hostile ships. Ryle grabbed the pod and ran. He didn't look back. He reached his ship. Engines on. He took off just as black ships appeared above the crater. Too late. They scanned the area. But Ryle was gone. Inside his ship, he placed the pod gently on the table. It was warm. Alive. Breathing. What are you? He whispered. The baby moved. Tiny hands pressed against the glass. Ryle sat back, confused, afraid. And something else. Protective. He remembered her last words. Save my baby. He didn't know her name. Didn't know the child's purpose. Didn't even know why the alien ships were chasing them. But he knew one thing. He had made a promise. And now, everything was about to change. Space is silent. But sometimes, in that silence, life begins. Captain Ryle watched the small pod glow. In the dark, it sat quietly on his ship's metal table. Inside, something moved. He hadn't slept. He hadn't eaten. He just stared. It had been 2 days since he escaped the wreck. 2 days since the alien woman died in his arms. And now, He wasn't alone anymore. Suddenly, a soft crack. The pod hissed. Steam rose from the edges. A small hand reached out. Ryle stood up fast, unsure, blaster in hand. Then, the pod opened, and there he was. A baby. Not human. Not fully alien. Tiny. Blue skin. Glowing eyes like stars. The child didn't cry. He looked straight at Ryle and smiled. Ryle lowered his blaster. "You're already awake?" The baby blinked. He reached out and touched Ryle's finger. "Warm, alive, narrator." In that moment, Ryle didn't see a threat. He didn't see an alien. He saw a child who had no one else. Ryle searched the alien capsule for clues. There was a data chip. Strange writing. Symbols he didn't understand. He plugged it into his ship's console. Language. Unknown. File. Encrypted. He slammed the desk. Why would she give me this if I can't even read it? But the chip began to glow. And one message played. A hologram appeared. It was her. The alien woman. Weak. Dying. Speaking in soft, broken English. "If you see this, I'm gone. My son is not normal. He is born from two worlds, a child of peace or war." Ryle froze. "His name is Kale. Protect him. Teach him love. Before the others, teach him hate." The hologram faded. The baby Kale was watching him. Quiet, calm, almost understanding. "Two worlds," Ryle whispered. "So, one of his parents was human?" He sat down beside the child. What did she mean? Born for war? As days passed, Ryle kept flying, staying away from signals, avoiding ships. He told no one. Kale grew faster than any normal baby. Within 1 week, he was walking. Within 2, he was speaking. Not full sentences, but words, clear, sky. Kale said, pointing at the window, "Ship, Ryle." One night, Ryle watched as the boy stared at the stars. "What are you thinking about, kid?" Kale turned to him. She sang. "Before sleep," he said softly. Ryle blinked. "Your mother?" Kale nodded. Then he hummed. A soft alien tune, slow and beautiful. Narrator. How did he remember that? He was just a baby, wasn't he? Then strange things began to happen. Kale could read the ship's systems. He fixed broken wires without tools. Once, when Ryle was injured, the boy touched. His wound had healed in seconds. "What are you?" Ryle asked. Kale looked up, serious. "I don't know yet." But someone else did. One night, the ship's alarm rang. Long-range scan. Unknown vessel approaching. Not human. Not friendly. A black triangle-shaped ship followed their trail. "How?" Ryle shouted. "We've been silent." Kale stood still. "Calm. They feel me." "Feel you? You mean track you?" Kale shook his head. "They are afraid of what I will become." Ryle didn't wait. He turned on stealth drive. Jumped to a new system. They escaped, but just barely. Later that night, as Ryle sat with Kale beside the ship's engine, he asked, "Why are they chasing you?" Kale's eyes glowed brighter than before. "Because I was not supposed to survive, narrator." He was just a child. But inside him, something powerful was growing. Ryle knew one thing now. He couldn't run forever. He needed answers. He needed help. And maybe the child needed more than just safety. Maybe Kale needed a future, but where? And who could they trust? Space remembers everything. Every sound. Every signal. Every secret. Even when you try to hide, it listens. A black ship drifted in the dark. No lights. No sound. No mercy. Inside, tall creatures with bone-white armor stared at a glowing map. In the center, a blinking red dot. One of them growled. "He is still alive. Another hissed. Impossible. The mother is dead. The leader's voice was colder than space itself, but the child is not. They turned their ship toward the red ... and began the hunt ... far away in a quiet corner of the galaxy. Ryle was fixing his ship's engine. Sparks flew. Grease on his hands. We're leaking fuel again. Third time this week, he muttered. Cal sat nearby, legs crossed. Eyes closed. Meditating. He had learned it from somewhere. No one taught him. Suddenly Cal opened his eyes. They are closer. Ryle turned sharply. What? Who? Cal looked at the stars through the glass. The ones who want me dead. Narrator. Ryle didn't understand how, but Cal could feel them, like a shadow creeping through his mind. Ryle checked the radar. Nothing. Are you sure? Cal nodded slowly. They don't need signals. They follow thoughts. That night, Ryle tried to sleep, but a sound woke him. A whisper. Like wind. He walked to the control room. Cal wasn't there. Then he saw him. Standing outside the ship. No suit. No fear. Just standing under the stars. Ryle panicked. Cal. He ran outside, but the air wasn't cold. The boy was floating. 3 feet off the ground. His body glowed. His eyes lit up like fire, and around him, the dust moved in circles like a storm. Ryle couldn't move. He just watched. After a moment, Cal slowly came down. He looked at Ryle. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. What was that? Ryle asked, breathing fast. I was remembering, Cal said. What I am. Narrator. He wasn't just learning. He was awakening. The next morning, Ryle received a coded message, an old contact from the Edge colonies. Trouble near Titan Gate. Alien scouts. Silent. Deadly. No survivors. Ryle's hand shook. They're cleaning up ... searching for him. He turned to Cal. We can't run anymore. We need help. Cal stared ahead. There is someone. Who? I don't know. But I see her face in my dreams. They set course toward an old moon station abandoned for years. As they approached, something strange happened. Cal stood near the window. He raised his hand, and the ship door opened by itself. No controls. No signal. Just Cal's mind. Inside the station, they found ruins. Broken walls. Burned tech. Silence. But in the center chamber, Cal stopped. She was here. Suddenly, the walls lit up. Symbols appeared. Floating in the air, Ryle aimed his blaster. What is this? A voice echoed. Soft. Robotic. Access. Granted. Royal code confirmed. A blue light scanned Cal. Identity. Cal Giros. Bloodline confirmed. Activating core memory. A hologram appeared. Not the mother this time. Another woman. Tall, human, wearing black armor with alien markings. If you are seeing this, Cal, it means your mother failed. You must reach me before they do. Ryle stepped back. Who is? She? Cal's voice was quiet. She's not my mother. She's the one they fear. Suddenly, alarm. Warning. Unknown ship detected. Approaching fast. Ryle's face went pale. They found us. They ran. Just before they reached the ship, a beam of red light hit the ground. Nearby. An enemy hunter stood in the distance, bone white, tall, holding a glowing blade. Ryle aimed. Cal stepped forward. No. He raised his hand. The ground shook. The hunter flew backwards, smashing into the rocks. Dead. They took off. As stars stretched around them, Ryle looked at the boy beside him. You saved us. Cal didn't smile. I just delayed them. Why are they afraid of you? Cal's eyes dimmed. Because I'm not just part alien. I'm part something else. Earth, the cradle of humanity. The place where it all began. But even the cradle can become a cage. The blue planet hung in space like a glowing gem, peaceful from a distance, but Captain Ryle wasn't feeling peace. He was nervous, angry, worried that he looked at Cale, now older, sharper, faster, no longer a baby, not yet a man. "You sure about this?" Ryle asked. Cale nodded. "She said we'd find answers here." They approached Luna Prime, Earth's outer defense station. An AI voice welcomed them. "Unknown vessel. Identify." Ryle replied, "Freighter K7, civilian transport, no weapons. Proceed to Dock 4. You will be scanned." He turned to Cale. "Don't talk, don't glow, and whatever happens, stay close." Cale smiled faintly. "I don't glow unless I'm scared." "Yeah, well, you're about to be." Inside the station, clean halls, security bots, uniformed officers. It felt too quiet, too perfect. They were led to a debrief room. 2 humans entered, high-ranking officers. 1 man, 1 woman. The man had steel in his eyes. "You are Captain Ryle?" "That's right. And this is your son?" Ryle hesitated. "Something like that." The woman sat forward. "We intercepted fragments of a signal. Alien tech, wreckage. You were there, weren't you?" Ryle said nothing. "Where is the child from that ship?" she asked. Cale looked up. "He's sitting right here. Silence. The man stood. "He speaks." "Yes," Cale said. "And I hear things too. Even things you whisper when the door is closed." The woman flinched. The man narrowed his eyes. "He's reading us." "No," Cale said softly. "I'm feeling you, and you're afraid." Narrator: "They weren't here to help. They were here to study, to control." That night, Ryle and Cale were escorted to separate rooms. Clean, sterile, cold. Ryle couldn't sleep. Something felt off. So he hacked the station's terminal. What he found chilled him. Files. Project Genesis. Subject: X-Child Biohybrid. Recommendation: secure, study, replicate. And at the bottom: prepare for extraction. Child is not to leave Earth. Ryle slammed the console. They never wanted to help. They want to use him. Meanwhile, in his room, Cale stood at the window. The Earth looked beautiful, but he didn't feel welcome. A voice echoed in his head. Not Ryle's, a woman's voice. "They want to turn you into a weapon before you learn to be human." He closed his eyes, and the lights in the room flickered. Suddenly, alarms blared. "Containment breach. Sector 7. Unknown energy spike." Ryle burst into Cale's room. "We're leaving, now." "They won't let us," Cale said. Ryle grinned. "That's what the blaster's for." As they ran through the halls, guards appeared. But before Ryle could shoot, Cale raised his hand. The floor trembled. Guards froze. Their weapons fell. Lights shattered. "I'm not angry," Cale said, "but I won't be locked up." They reached the ship. Just as it launched, a large Earth battleship turned to intercept. On the comms: "Return the child." "Or be destroyed," Ryle replied. "He's not a weapon. He's a kid. That's exactly why he's dangerous." Cale looked at Earth one last time. "They fear what I might become." "What will you become?" Ryle asked. Cale looked ahead. "Something new." Narrator: "Earth had secrets. Dark ones. But now Earth had something else. A child it couldn't control. Some wars are started by armies. Others by fear. But the worst ones? They begin with a child no one understands, above Earth's orbit. A storm was brewing. Alien ships, dark, silent, and deadly, hovered just outside human radar. They weren't firing. They weren't speaking. They were waiting. For one thing, the child. Inside Ryle's ship, Cale sat alone in the dark. His eyes glowed softly. His heartbeat echoed through the ship's walls, not by sound, but by energy. Something inside him was waking up. In the control room, Ryle stared at the monitor. News channels. Military updates. Panic. Earth was on edge. Governments denying everything. But Ryle knew the truth. "They're here for you," he said. Cale nodded. "And they won't leave without me." A message came through. Not from Earth, not from any human station. It was telepathic, a voice only Cale could hear. "Child of two bloods, surrender, or this world burns." Cale closed his eyes. He saw flashes. Ships falling, cities burning, screams in every language. He opened his eyes, full of fire. "They want a war. Then we run," Ryle said quickly. Cale shook his head. "You can't run from fire." Narrator. For the first time, Ryle saw it in his eyes. Not fear, not confusion. Destiny. Ryle called an old friend, Commander Drez, a former soldier now living off-grid on Mars Base Theta. "I have the boy," Ryle said. "And the war's coming, fast." "You idiot," Drez growled. "You should have left him in deep space. He's not a weapon." "No, he's worse. He's a key." They met on Mars, deep under red rock in a bunker long forgotten by the government. Drez looked at Cale, almost afraid to speak. "You know what he is?" "A kid," Ryle replied. Drez shook his head. "He's the product of Project Solstice, a secret plan. Aliens and humans working together to create a hybrid. But the project was shut down. Too dangerous. Too unpredictable." "So they made him?" Ryle asked. "They started him. But something else finished the job." Cale walked into the room. "I heard everything." He looked at Drez. "You're wrong. I wasn't made. I was chosen." "Chosen by who?" Ryle asked. Cale turned his head. "By the stars." Suddenly, the bunker shook. Boom. 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 The sky above turned red. Earth's defense satellites were falling. Alien ships were attacking. But not Earth cities. Just one place. Luna Prime. The place where Earth tried to trap Cale. A new message played on every human screen. Not from Earth. Not from any leader. It was a female alien. Tall, regal, terrifying. "Return the child, or Earth will fall. You have one rotation." Panic erupted across the planet. Earth's leaders activated war protocol, nuclear shields, orbital cannons, ground forces. But deep inside they knew they were OUTM in orbit. An emergency council met. Military, scientists, politicians. "The child is the key," said one. "He can stop them," said another, "or control them." "What if we use him?" whispered a general. "Weaponize him. Aim him at their fleet." Narrator. And so, both sides began to reach for him. Not with hands, but with chains. Back on Mars, Ryle and Cale stared at the stars. "They want to use you," Ryle said. "All of them." "Yes," Cale whispered, "because they think power means control." "What do you think it means?" Cale looked at him. "Choice." As dawn rose over Earth and the alien fleet grew larger, Ryle made a decision. "We're going to the neutral zone, between both empires." "To do what?" Drez asked. "To let the boy choose." Narrator, serious tone. War was no longer a question, it was a countdown. And the only one who could stop it was still deciding what he wanted to become. Betrayal never starts with enemies. It starts with someone who once said, "You can trust me." 3 hours before the attack, the neutral zone was quiet. No planets, no stations, just stars. And silence. Ryle's ship floated in orbit near a decommissioned relay tower. Inside, Ryle brewed coffee. It had been a long night. He hadn't slept. Not because of the war outside, but because of the war inside Cale. The boy was changing again. Faster now, stronger. He could read entire books in seconds. He no longer needed sleep or food. And sometimes he spoke in two voices. Ryle watched from the hallway as Cale sat on the floor, eyes closed, body still. But the air around him moved, pulsing softly like it was breathing. Then Cale opened his eyes and said one word, "She's coming." "Who?" Ryle asked. Cale stood up. "The one who betrayed you." 12 minutes later, a docking signal lit up. Ryle opened the bay. Doors. And standing there, Commander Drez. "Took you long enough," Ryle said. "Thought you said Mars was safe." Drez smiled, stepping into the ship. "It was, until you made it a target." He walked past Ryle and toward Cale. "So? This is the alien messiah everyone's afraid of." Cale didn't move. He stared at Drez for a long time. Then he said, "You sold us out." Drez laughed. "Kid, I've been selling people out since before you were grown in a tank." He turned to Ryle. "Sorry, old friend, but Earth made N10. Offer I couldn't refuse." Narrator, darker tone. And just like that, trust shattered. Like glass in zero gravity. A hidden signal pulsed from Drez's suit. Suddenly dash boom. An EMP burst, fried half the ship's controls. Troopers in black armor boarded seconds later. Human soldiers. Not alien. Guns raised. Orders shouted. Cael stepped forward, but before he could react, a nullifier collar clicked around his neck. Powerless. Paralyzed. Ryle fought. 1 against 6. He lasted a minute. Then a rifle slammed into his head. Darkness. Narrator, soft, grim. When Ryle woke up, he was alone. Ship gone. Cale taken. Drez vanished. Only a blinking beacon was left behind. He pressed play. Drez's voice. "Don't take it personal, Ryle. Earth's betting everything on this kid. They'll turn him into a god or a bomb. Either way, your part's over." Far away, deep inside a hidden facility, Cale lay strapped to a metal chair. Needles scanned his blood. Machines hummed around him. Screens showed alien fleets. Earth generals. DNA codes. Voices spoke from behind glass. Subject stable. Energy output rising. He's remembering now. Good. Push harder. But Cale's eyes were not afraid. They were awake. He spoke one word. Enough. The room flickered. Machines glitche. Sparks flew, and one of the walls cracked. Narrator. Intense tone. They thought he was a weapon, but they forgot weapons don't think. Weapons don't feel. Weapons don't remember their mother's final words. Suddenly, Cale's memories rushed back like a tidal wave. His mother's voice. The war that wiped out her people. The reason she chose Earth, not for safety, but to give birth to the bridge between enemies. Back on Ryle's ship, reactivated now. A message came through. Not from Earth, not from aliens, but from Cale himself. "I'm coming back, but not the way I left." Narrator, soft and eerie. They took the child, but they woke up the truth, and now he chooses. They built walls to keep him in. They built fleets to stop him. They ran tests, made threats, told lies, but none of them ever asked the one question that mattered. What does he want? Somewhere above Earth. Time had stopped. The sky was filled with ships, alien and human. Cannons charged. Shields up. Everyone waited for the same thing. Cael. He had vanished after the breakout. Now. They felt him before they saw him. High above the planet. A rift opened in space. Not a gate, not a ship. A ripple. A scar. A doorway carved by thought, not engines. And through it, he arrived. No weapons. No army. Just a boy in silence, but every system blinked red. Threat level, unknown. Unmeasurable. Narrator, low. He wasn't the same child anymore. He wasn't running. He wasn't hiding. He was choosing. Inside Earth's War Command, generals watched in silence. One whispered, "Fire?" Another replied, "Not yet. Let's see what the god wants." In orbit, the alien queen watched too. The one who threatened Earth. Her generals bowed. "Permission to strike?" She raised one hand. "No, he came alone. And if he chooses them?" Her voice was cold. "Then we erase him and the planet." Kale floated between both fleets. He raised one hand, and everything stopped. No explosions, no missiles, just silence, because he wasn't controlling the ships. He was controlling fear itself. Ryle watched from a stolen shuttle far below, bruised, bandaged, alive. His voice cracked as he whispered, "Come on, kid. Don't let them decide who you are." Kale looked down at Earth. He spoke. Not with his mouth, but with mind. Every screen, every radio, every thought heard the same words. "You called me a weapon, a miracle, a threat, but I was never yours to define. I am not a god. I am not a bomb. I am a child of both bloods, and I choose humanity first." Then he let go. Not of power, of anger. The glow in his body faded to soft light. The alien ships lowered their weapons. The queen closed her eyes. "He is not our enemy." But on Earth, not everyone agreed. Inside War Command, a panicked general screamed, "He's turning their fleet. Fire! Fire now!" A missile launched. Straight at Kale. Ryle shouted into the mic, "Nitrogen monoxide!" Too late. The missile reached him in seconds and passed. Straight through. No explosion. No heat. Just light. Narrator. Soft. Kale didn't destroy the weapon. He absorbed it. Painfully. And then he vanished. For 10 whole seconds. There was silence. Then a shockwave spread across the sky. Not fire. Not death. But life. It healed satellites. Repaired broken engines. Even revived a dying astronaut drifting. In space. Down on Earth, children looked up and smiled. Plants bloomed in poisoned soil. Skies cleared over black oceans. In the command center, the generals stared at their screens. Where is he? No one knew, not even the aliens. He was everywhere. And nowhere. Later, in a quiet valley far from war. Ryle stood alone. A familiar voice spoke behind him. "You still make terrible coffee." Ryle turned. Kale was there. Older. Taller. Peaceful. But still. Him. "You're alive?" Kale nodded. "I let the world go to save it. I'm not meant to stay."
"So this is goodbye?" Kale smiled. "No, this is a beginning."
He handed Ryle a small glowing crystal. "If they forget what I stood for, remind them." "And what did you stand for?" Ryle asked. Kale looked up at the stars. "Not for war, not for power. I stood for choice." Then he walked into the light and was gone. Narrator, gentle, closing. He wasn't human. He wasn't alien. He was the proof that hope survives both. He was the child of stars. And he chose humanity first. Screen fades to black. Text appears on screen. In the end, he wasn't the weapon they feared. He was the future they never expected. HFY Sci-Fi. Series complete.